Hi guys, I'm doing this study tips video on the request of April. April is a long time subscriber. She has been watching since day one, so when she asked for study tips, I knew I had to do this for her. So the first one I want to give is to get organized, meaning that get all your stuff ready, get all the materials you will need to study or just to function in school. Get everything and keep them neat and nice and clean and safe. So get your textbook, then get your notebook. Now I like using these. I don't like the spiral ones because they kind of tear the pages on both ends. So this to me is more secure and more durable, and I don't like keeping multiple subjects in one book. That can get confusing at times. I know it saves space and everything, and then you'll only have to carry one book if you're doing 3 subjects. Now this is very heavy, so you just have to make the small sacrifice, but keep your work separate. That really helps. So textbook, notebook. One important thing again is a folder to keep your handouts. And apart from handouts, if you're doing questions and past papers and everything, keep them all in one place. Don't have them all over and scattered. That's not good. So keep your stuff per subject together, and of course your stationery. And I keep mine in this because I can also go into the exam room with this clear pencil case. Now I don't know how some people could function. They'll have their book, their folder and whatnot in their bag, and just have a pencil and a pen floating around the whole bag. I cannot do that. I need to have my stuff organized, as well as backup pens and pencils. I also have colored pencils, post-its, a backup calculator, sharpener, 3 rulers. I like to have extras. Now that will really help you when you're going to school and when it's time to study. Calculator is essential. Make sure and get the correct calculator for your subject, and check the battery. Highlighters come in really handy for when you have long paragraphs, just to pick out the main points. Plastic zip-up folder really helps, especially during the rainy season. Will keep your papers dry, and it has a separator, and your papers will never get wet. Keep a flash drive or more than one around, because they will come in very handy when you need to download and print papers, outlines, graphs, anything. A notepad or loose paper will really help when you need to make lists or notes or any quick thing. Write down homework, stick it up somewhere. The second tip I want to give is to make a schedule suitable to your needs. For example, if you're doing 2 subjects, divide the week into the number of days that you want to devote to each subject. For example, I was doing economics and organizational behavior, but economics is a little bit more technical. So I know I wanted to devote more time towards that. So I scheduled it in a way to have 3 days devoted towards OB and 4 days towards economics. Making a schedule is not always easy because you may be doing a large number of subjects and you would not have enough time to devote one entire day or 2 days per subject. So in that case, you may need to narrow down the subjects that give you a little bit of a challenge and schedule your time in a way that you can devote more time towards those. So if you know you can handle yourself properly in English, take away some of the English time and devote it to mathematics. Now your schedule is going to be suitable to your needs, and you can even detail it as far as breaking down the times and knowing when your study time is going to be, and actually name the subject that you're going to study on that day. Don't just put like at 7 p.m. study. Put at 7 p.m. study English. You can also detail it in a way. Study is such a general term, so you may say homework, extra reading, and break it down in that way, and that will be very helpful. Now, we're doing a range of subjects, and not every subject you can tackle in the same way. So you have to know that if I'm doing English, what helps me is reading or the comprehension, stuff like that. If I'm doing mathematics, I need to do questions. Now you need to put aside the time accordingly, so that doing past papers or homework questions and things might take a little bit longer than reading an essay, for example. Also, certain subjects at the different levels, for example, university, require a lot of reading, especially in business and sociology. You're gonna do so much reading, so you can't just say I'm gonna just do the past papers. You have to read, and you have to read multiple books. So you need to know which subjects call for which approach. You're going to approach each subject differently. For example, when I did statistics, I did a lot of questions, and I did those questions in groups with help. Also, what helps is getting together with your friends and explain the topic areas to each other. So I may know a topic better than my friend may know a certain topic better than me, and you go back and forth and explain to each other. In terms of the reading subjects like business and marketing, organizational behavior, human resource management, a lot of psychology as well, you have to read your text. And for sociology, psychology, you have to read articles. So make sure you have access to all those reading material and read. And yeah, I know reading can get boring and dull at times, so if you know you cannot learn that way, try to get an app or something that can read it back to you, or even use things like YouTube and listen to a lecture. Now, when I did my first degree, there were a couple classes that were clashing because I did 2 extra subjects in year 1, so I could not make it to all my classes. What I did to get me through that first year, I would have a friend tape the lectures that I missed, and I utilize the time right before I go to bed. Right then, I would listen to a lecture. The next point is to make notes. Now when I say make notes, I don't mean write a whole complete long boring paragraph. You make your notes in a smart way. Point form is what helps. So you make your point, make sure and skip a line, make your other point, because when you see it in that format, the brain will process it in a quicker, easier way. Because if you see one big jumble of paragraphs and information, that is not going to help you. So make smart notes in a nice, neat way, and that will help you. Another thing that I really like to do, and I stress the importance of it, is to take breaks in between. I would never sit down for hours reading or trying to learn something. Hours is really too much. Try to take breaks every 15 to 20 minutes if that's possible. The only way I will sit down for maybe 45 minutes straight is if I'm working on a question and I don't want to leave it. But if you're reading and taking your notes as well, please take the breaks in between. That will really help you. This next point I'm guilty of doing, but I want to stress that you don't do it. Do not let work pile up. That is not going to help you. So in other words, don't procrastinate. So if you have homework to do or assignments, please don't leave them for last minute. Try and work on them as soon as you get them, as soon as you can. Do not let your reading pile up as well. That is going to land you in a lot of trouble as a university student, especially. Do not let your reading pile up. If you can source your books earlier and even read ahead, that's really going to help you, because coming down to exam time, you won't be cramming. You will have that information in here. I was getting into a situation where my work was piling up. I had homework for 3 topics and I did not touch it. I didn't do my homework for 3 weeks. Now this is homework at this level. Nobody's gonna check on you, nobody's gonna scold you. But if you don't do it, you are the one who's gonna suffer. So it's not like secondary school where they're gonna check on you and ask to see a book or anything. But they do give you questions to do, and it will help you if you do them. So I let my work pile up for a little bit and I was feeling bad about it. But I recently started, and I had to start it in a way working backwards. Because I let it pile up, I'm doing the most recent topic. I'm doing that now, and then I will work backwards from there. But if you did not let it pile up, you will be right on track. The last point I want to give is very important, and it may be difficult to do, but I want you to ask for help. If you have a question, don't be afraid to ask the teacher, ask your lecturer, or if you can't do that, ask a friend, and even try to make friends with older students who went through this process before, and they will be in the best situation to help you with the problems that you're facing in terms of your schoolwork. So don't be afraid to ask for help. It will really benefit you in the long run.